Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Ohuhu dual tip brush pens. So first let's start off by what are they? So they are dual sided, which they have a fine and a brush tip side. They have the brush tip for coloring, shading, blending, and calligraphy, and the fine tip for smaller outline details. It also includes 3 brush tips and 2 fine liner tip replacements. It also comes in 60 different colors and they are highly pigmented and vibrant. They are fast drying markers and they also come in a nice carrying case as well. If you are interested in learning calligraphy, I have a free calligraphy basics course which will teach you all the basic strokes that you need to know in order to start calligraphy. It also includes free worksheets as well, so I will link that below. So how should these be stored? They should be stored horizontally. So the interesting thing about these is that their original container, you would store them vertically, is what it seems like it suggests. So pens like these dual tip brush pens should be stored horizontally so that the ink does not dry in one side if they are stored vertically. So I highly recommend that you store these horizontally. You can keep them in the case, but just tip it on its side if you want to store them like that. So now let's talk about the blendability. So when you blend a water-based pen, it usually has to do, your results will vary depending on what kind of paper you use. So if you use a thin paper that is not really good for dual layers, then it's not going to blend very well. So this is also where that catch-22 comes in, because if I were to blend markers, I would use a watercolor paper or a paper that is made for blending. And I can tell that these tips will not withstand that textured paper. So it really depends on you and what you would want to use them for. I am perfectly fine with using mine on a watercolor paper just because I do a lot of blending. And that's primarily what I use them for. So that's what I would do. But if you are worried about ruining those nibs, then just stick to a marker paper or a Bristol smooth paper for blending. Now, what paper should you use with these? So there's kind of a catch-22 with these. You want to use a smooth paper so that you don't fray the tips. However, if you're looking to blend, usually a smooth paper isn't the easiest to blend on because otherwise it picks up layers of the paper and it kind of will leave that residue on your pen. So I suggest using a Bristol smooth paper if you are going to be blending. And if you don't really care about calligraphy or ruining the nibs, then you can use like a mixed media paper or a watercolor paper, but just be prepared because it will fray the edges. Now, what sets do these come in? This one comes in just a set of 60 for around $15 to $20, depending on if they are running a sale on Amazon. So that is a reasonable price for 60 different colors. And I did see that there was an option for either black or white packaging. So that doesn't affect the quality of the pen or the use of the pen, but just the color of the part where you're holding, like the chamber where you're holding is either black or white. So as far as the upstrokes and the downstrokes, I can already tell that the brush tip will fray very easily. So when you push down on the nib, it should bounce back. And as you can see here, it doesn't bounce back very well. So it starts out as thin upstrokes, but as you put pressure on the downstrokes, the nib just has trouble going back to its original shape. So this makes it extremely difficult to get those nice upstrokes, and especially if you are a beginner, it can become extremely frustrating when trying to achieve those thin upstrokes. Also, these nibs make it more difficult for beginners because it doesn't give you much feedback, which means that you can't really feel how much pressure you're putting when you're writing. So it does make it extra wobbly when you're first starting to learn calligraphy. Now the fine tip side, on the other hand, I think there's nothing wrong with it, and I think it would be perfect to use in a bullet journal, and that's probably what I will use these for, is my bullet journals. So I have tons of different colors, and the brush tip side, I don't see myself using that one quite as often. So the pros of these Ohuhu brush pens, and I crack myself up every time I say that word, it just sounds so weird. So the pros are that it comes with tons of colors, and it does have numbers, and it's color coded, so that helps, and it also comes with a color chart. They are very inexpensive for the variety of colors that you get. It's dual-sided, and the colors match on both sides, so that's nice. They blend really well, and they are great for coloring too. So the cons are that these nibs fray very easily, and blending can be tough because the nibs are not very strong. So if you're a beginner and you want these specifically for calligraphy, I don't recommend them as far as that goes. Now, my overall opinion is that these are great for coloring. There's such a wide selection of colors, and like I said before, the fine nib would be great for bullet journaling, and I would pass on these for calligraphy because there are just tons of different options out there, and you might not get as many colors, but the quality does matter. Would I purchase these again? So no, because like I said, there are lots of other options out there for the same price, and the quality does matter when you're learning calligraphy. So I would just make sure, even if I didn't have that many colors, just the rainbow would be fine for me. 10 colors or so is perfect for starting. And I have a video that has a list of all my favorite brush pens, so I will make sure to link that as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know down below in the comments if there's any other pens that you would like me to review. I'm happy to get them and review them for you guys.